Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Stuck in a Truck. Today is going to be an awesome part. Today is part two of a two-part series. Last week, we started discussing what are the top 10 mistakes business owners make or new entrepreneurs make. And we talked about them. The first four that we went over last week was drinking your own Kool-Aid, getting into it for the wrong reasons, not keeping your eye on your bank balance, so losing control of your budget. It's a real big one. You really need to know what you're doing with your money and have the abilities to project out. You really don't want to overspend yourself, and put yourself in unnecessary stress. And four was not securing and locking down legally your intellectual knowledge. So with that, that was last week's top four. So if you didn't see that episode, go to BLK9 TV, watch it, learn it, love it. Okay. But we're going to continue that list today. And we're going to start with number five, which is a big one for me. It's micromanaging for too long of a period. This is huge when you really think about running a company, starting to bring in employees or not bringing in employees, and you micromanage yourself to death. So when we really think about taking our companies from being a self-employed person to the next tier, which is growing the company, getting employees and stuff, it's very hard to let go of the responsibilities. Nobody's going to care for the company as much as I do. Nobody's going to give their heart and soul to this. They're going to mess it up. They don't care. They don't believe. They don't anything. Oh, they're lazy. It's this generation. It's you come up with all these reasons. And what happens is you start micromanaging yourself, your employees, to get little things done that necessarily you should have allowed them the opportunity to go. People want to be a part of your company. They want to be a part of the culture that you create. So you as that entrepreneur, you as that leader, you should be more focused on building the culture, the following, the connection to what you're trying to build than micromanaging them into making sure the boxes were built or the floor was swept. You give out the responsibilities and you go to that one. Number six, poor hiring decisions. So that goes into the micromanaging. Learn how to properly hire your people. Put the processes in place to weed them out. Don't hire out of desperation. Don't sit there and be like, oh, I need an employee, so I'm just going to hire whoever I can get. Sometimes it's better not to hire that person and struggle for a bit looking for the right person. A players. So when you bring a B player, C player, D player into your mix, you tend to almost ruin the culture that you built with your A players. So you want to be mindful of that kind of stuff. And if you do see yourself hiring the wrong people, then you're going to need to be mindful to get rid of them as quickly as possible so you develop the A players. So again, making bad hiring decisions could truly ruin what you're trying to build. Number seven, not focusing on sales enough. That's a big one. A lot of people are scared to market. They're scared of the word sales. They're scared to be a salesman or a person. It's one of those things where selling is something we do from the moment we wake up. It's not a taboo thing. It's not a negative thing. Sales are literally where in the morning time, everybody goes through this. You wake up in the morning and you're like, I know I can give myself 5 more minutes if I comb my hair quicker, I don't use hair gel, or I wear a certain outfit. You're literally selling yourself on giving yourself 5 more minutes of sleep. Or when you tell people how you're not good at sales or you don't like selling, you're literally selling the fact that you don't like selling. So stop looking at it as the old fashioned used car salesman selling lemons and start looking at it as you are telling people about this great opportunity that you are putting together for them, that your product, your service, and because the thing is that if you got into becoming an entrepreneur, if you started your company or became a leader because you truly believe in what you're doing, then you're not selling somebody to buy something that's crappy. You're selling somebody the opportunity to have what you're putting together. So if you believe that your product is the best, then you're not selling anybody a can of lemons. You're leaving. So don't look at it as such a negative thing and stop being scared of it and start spreading the word about it. Let's see, number eight, Failing to realize the importance of cash flow. This is a real important one. This one goes back to what we were talking about with your budget and not keeping an eye on your bank account. The cash flow point is spending the money that's coming into the company. And you want to be mindful that you want to make sure that you're constantly filling the bucket of water that we call your that's your bank, right? Your bucket is your bank, and you want to make sure that you're constantly flowing the cash into that bucket, and you're only using the water out of the spigot at the bottom of the bucket. So that means you should be putting in more than you're ever taking out, and you have to be mindful of this because again, if you don't have enough cash flow to continue your business for so many months, you're going to fail because you're going to be stressed out, you're going to be starting worried, and you're going to become anxious, and you're going to make yourself lose what your focus on what you're doing. Number 9 is horrible, 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 horrible customer engagement. Customer engagement has to be one of the most important things you can think about. So we find it to be a huge mistake when you go to businesses, in particular myself, when I go to a company or a business and the customer service is belittled. Like they don't say hi to me, they don't say thank you for the purchase, they don't talk to me, they don't engage with me. Owners shun me because they act like they're bigger or better than me. This is something that could, in my opinion, ruin a business. The thing is that people are coming to your restaurant, they're coming to your store, they're coming to buy your product because they're emotionally connected to the service, emotionally connected to you, your beliefs, your core ideas. That's why they're coming. They're not coming for any other reason. When we think about why people do what they do it because want versus need. And the thing is that our wants will always supersede our needs. Our wants are emotional. We'll always do it. Number 10, building too much too quickly. So again, this is one of those things where we all have these great big visions for our business. We want to be the number one franchise in the country, the biggest billionaire company, and we have this big image in our mind of what they are and what it's supposed to be. When the truth be told is, you want to only build one step at a time. You want to build one thing, focus on it, turn it, move it to the next one. And until that one is running with no problems, you shouldn't be trying to expand. That literally goes back to everything that we're discussing, from hiring, cash flow, all these things. When we take on too much in our business, that's when we get set up for failure. That's when we have problems because of those reasons. Do you see what I mean? So when you think about your growth, uh, you got to think about the avenue of how that works, right? So you got to look at it in that avenue of, I'm growing, I'm expanding, I'm doing these things, but were you doing it at the right time? Did you buy the extra machines because you had a high demand, or were you doing it because you feel like you need to? So you want to make sure that everything you're doing is balanced out through your budget, through all these different things. So your success is based around you. And remember, those top 10 mistakes that business owners make, if you do the opposite, if you put the time and effort into it and make sure you're doing what you need to do and focusing on it, you too will be completely successful in this journey. So without any further ado, guys, I'll see you next week. Thank you for watching and subscribing and enjoying our show. Make sure you put it out there and give a share. We have big things coming in the future. So keep following and paying attention because we have a ton of stuff that we're getting ready to give away that we're working on. So we'll see you all next week. Have a great week.